educate us on maple syrup, of all things, is our kitchen scientist, Dan Kohler. We love it when you're in the kitchen, Dan.
Well, thank you. I love being here.
Okay, so how is maple syrup tapped and collected?
Well, first, I want to start off with I want to invite you all to eat. You've got some maple cream on some toast, and that's what we're making over here. Maple cream is very easy to make. Ah, you love it, right? You're in love. You're in love. It's spreadable maple syrup. Now, the way to make this is very easy. We're gonna bring this maple syrup up to 235 degrees. When it's bubbling, we're gonna shut off the heat. Then we're gonna throw it in an ice bath. Okay? After that, you let it cool down to about 100 degrees, and you just stir. So what happens here is we evaporate the water, and then we slam sugar crystals up against each other for about half an hour. So, Kim Douglas, can you help me with this? Can you stir for the next 30 minutes?
No, he didn't vote for us.
He didn't vote for us, and we're not eating.
That's your punishment for losing. But after you stir for 30 minutes, you have this perfectly spreadable maple syrup. Believe it or not, there are no other ingredients in there.
Can you put it on pancakes?
Like on donuts.
Yes, it's a glaze. It's like a glaze at that point.
Yeah, like a donut.
So now back to your question. Where does maple syrup come from?
Okay, I don't know, Dan. That's why I'm asking you.
I know. Well, I'm going to help you out with that. So the trees use photosynthesis to create sugar, and they use that sugar for growth. Now, as soon as the growing season is over, the trees store extra sugar to protect themselves against a cold winter. Well, guess what that sugar turns into? Sap. It turns into the sap in the trees. So the way we get that sap out, we drill a hole into the trees, and I think we've got some footage of this actually.
We should do that number.
We drill a hole. There we go. This is Tanya last year. We drill a hole into a tree, and then you hammer a spile into it. Now a spile. There we go. That's what a spile looks like. And the sap starts to flow out. You can see some coming out there right now. It's going to drip right into that bucket. Now the sap.
How come it's clear?
Because when sap comes out, it's a very loose solution of sucrose in water. Sap is mostly a clear liquid. It's not syrup. Syrup does not come out of the trees. We have to turn sap into syrup. Now the way we do that is through the application of heat. So in the same way that when you take white sugar and you apply heat to it and you get caramel, right? Same thing happens with maple syrup, right? So we take the maple sap and we boil it down, and as the water evaporates, that sugar concentrates, and a lot of the volatiles, which are the flavor compounds, they come out, and that's what we know as maple syrup. Now, the sucrose is the sugar molecule that's in there, and sucrose is not actually that reactive to heat. But there are microbes present in the trees, which is sort of amazing. Now, these microbes break sucrose into its constituent parts, glucose and fructose. Now, both glucose and fructose are very reactive to heat. So as we cook it down, it's not sucrose anymore, it's glucose and fructose. And those sugar compounds actually take on all this marvelous color that you see in front of you.
Beautiful.
And you actually have a couple of different kinds. Yeah, Kim, I need you to keep stirring. We
stirring.
don't have enough maple cream here, okay?
Okay, sorry. Wait, Candy wants more.
Thank you.
Wow.
So if you can taste in front of you, you've got three different kinds of maple syrup and maple candy. Now, maple syrup used to be graded A, B, and letters down below that. But the Federation of Maple Syrup Growers realized that people were thinking that grade B maple syrup was actually not as good, which is not true. It's actually just darker. So as of January 2015, a new rating system has been put into place where everything is grade A as long as there's no grit in it. And it's based on color now. So you can taste the various colors going down from golden, amber, to dark. Now, when you're shopping for syrup, if you want a light flavor, you're going to go with golden. If you want the heaviest, hard-hitting maple syrup, you go for the darkest color. Now, believe it or not, when we pull that sap out of the trees, right? I said we're going to boil it down. You know why maple syrup is expensive?
Why?
Because it takes roughly 40 gallons of sap to make 1 quart of syrup. So if you look here, so this is 1 gallon. 1 gallon of sap, let's say, would make about 3 ounces of syrup. So the ratio is way out of control. That's why the price is so high.
What about with a tree? What's the rate of the tree? I mean, how
many gallons do
you get out of a tree?
You know, it really depends on the growing season. It depends on where. Now,
when is the growing season?
Well, the growing season is all through the summer. Now, we tap in the spring. And why do we tap in the spring?
Dan, why do we tap in the spring?
Thank you for that question. Because of physics. You see, in the spring, we have above freezing temperatures during the day, it's warm, and we have below freezing temperatures at night. So what happens, the tree during the day sucks all the water in from the ground, and then it freezes at night. Now we have a pressure system, we have a pressurized system. So during the day, as it melts, there's built up pressure in the trunk, and that's why you hammer in the spile, so all the sap can come out.
Wow.
Science!
Man, you're fantastic.
Science!
Wow.
Now, If you're worried about the price of maple syrup or that maple syrup is going to disappear anytime soon, do not worry. There is a strategic maple syrup reserve up in Quebec. They store about 13,000 tons of maple syrup to guard against a bad crop or a bad season. You will never go without maple syrup.
Oh,
Ever?
wow.
Wow.
You need to teach everything in all the world to everyone in the schools.
He does. He's so fascinating.
So good.
Well, if you want more interesting food science from Dan, just keep tuning into Home and Family and watching him. Or you can go to renegadekitchen.com. We love it again when you're
Thank
in the
you.
kitchen.
Enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
And
All right,
speaking of
yeah.
sweet, Tanya, you're up.
Check this out. You add some lace to a new or used t-shirt. Don't throw your t-shirts away because you can turn them into